Chakwera would leave his talk and walk it. But it seems like all the rhetoric was just paying strategy to attract voters and put him into office. Because when he got into power, he first violated the agreements that he made with the alliance partners, such that the alliance started crumbling immediately when he got into power. Those people who had hope in him will try to change their mind and vote for somebody who might be probably keep the ways and walk the talk.
The Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution says that it welcomes the announcement by President Cyril Ramaphosa last night of placing Police Minister Senzo Mchunu on special leave. Ramaphosa also announced the appointment of a judicial inquiry to probe wide-ranging allegations of political interference, collusion and infiltration in the South African Police Service. This follows allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi a week ago. Lawson Naidu is CASIC's Executive Secretary.
Establishing a judicial commission of inquiry was absolutely critical that whatever inquiry was established was going to be independent, and I think this one certainly is. It's obviously the correct call to place the minister on special leave. The minister could not preside over the Ministry of Police while this investigation was underway, so that's the correct decision. The only concern that I would have is in terms of the timeframes. Whilst the president did indicate that interim reports would be submitted within 3 and 6 months, we don't know the full lifespan of the commission, how long it's expected to take. I think the terms of reference as enunciated by the President last night are fairly broad.
Meanwhile, South Africa's Police Minister, Senzo Mchunu, who has denied corruption allegations against him, says he accepts and supports the President's decision to place him on leave of absence. Lawyer and politician Professor Firoz Kachalia will act as Police Minister with effect from the 1st of next month. Mchunu says he's ready to respond to the allegations against him. The Democratic Alliance Party has since laid criminal charges against him. A disturbing rise in missing children reports during the first week of school holidays in South Africa has prompted child protection advocates to issue an urgent call for increased vigilance during this time. The Faith and Hope Missing Persons and Rights Organization Ilitha Labantu have warned parents, caregivers and communities to remain alert and proactive as children face increased vulnerability. Veronique Benji Williams is the founder of Faith and Hope Missing Persons.
Parents really and caregivers need to be extra cautious and vigilant when the children is at home. So they need really to check and leave the children by caregivers that really is safe, because nowadays you can't even trust really caregivers to look after your children. You need to go the extra mile to do a background check on that person, because nowadays a perpetrator is someone who you know.
A court in the UK has ruled that a newborn baby allegedly trafficked from Nigeria last year will now be adopted in Britain. The practice of baby farming is well known in West Africa. Nigerian authorities have shut down at least 200 illegal baby factories in the last 5 years. Some contained young girls who'd been kidnapped, raped and forced to give birth repeatedly. The BBC's Sanchia Berg has the story.
On the 6th of July last year, police arrested a Nigerian woman on suspicion of trafficking as she arrived at Gatwick Airport with a baby girl after a month in her home country. The woman lives in the UK with her family. She had told English doctors she was pregnant, but scans and tests before her trip showed that wasn't true. She presented Lee's family court with photos and videos that she said proved she'd given birth. The judge found those had been faked. Phone messages suggested she had bought the baby. The little girl was taken into foster care on arrival in Britain, and a judge has decided she will now be adopted here.
For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
In our sports headline, Amajida have been crowned the COSAFA Under-20 champions in the Region 5 Games final. And Rory McIlroy finished as the Scottish Open runner-up ahead of the upcoming British Open. I'll be back with these and other stories at the bottom of the hour.
Africa Update with Lulu Gaboo, 12 to 1 p.m. Central African Time.
Well, thank you to Jwalani Tulongwepe with our news update, and Figile Lungwati with our sports headlines. It is 12:07 Central African time, and we're coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. Join us in conversation on our social media platforms. That's on X, Instagram, and subscribe on YouTube at Channel Africa 1, on Facebook at Channel Africa. You can also send us your comments and voice notes to +2763 as 406 9126 #Africa Update. And let us know which country you're in. We are coming to you live from Auckland Park in Johannesburg in South Africa on DSTV's audio bouquet channel 802, on OpenView channel 628, and on www.channelafrica.co.za, as well as on the SABC Plus app, available on the Apple and Google Play stores. And today on #Africa Update we ask the question, with South Africa's president South Africans having expressed disappointment and calling for the dismissal of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Last night, President Cyril Ramaphosa placed Mchunu on special leave pending a commission of inquiry into allegations made just over a week ago by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Our South Africans are tired of commissions of inquiry, claiming that once the inquiries conclude, no action is taken against those found guilty or involved. Now, the question is, should the country's citizens take to the streets, or should they wait for the outcome of this latest inquiry? The question we ask again, should the country's citizens take to the streets, or should they wait for the outcome of this latest inquiry? Share your thoughts and your views on all our social media platforms, X, Instagram, and at Channel Africa 1, on Facebook at Channel Africa. You can also send us your comments and voice notes to +2763 as 406 9126 #Africa Update. Let us know which country you're in. That is #Africa Update us.
Africa Update on Channel Africa.
SABC Sports brings you Chasing the Sun, the powerful 5-part documentary series about the Springboks, telling the rousing tale of their path to redemption and ultimate World Cup glory in 2019. Starting on the 13th of July at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Tune in every Sunday for the highs, the heartache, and the heroics that made rugby history. I'll stream each chapter on SABC Plus anytime, anywhere, no subscription needed. And don't miss Chasing the Sun this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Be there when history shines.
Africa Update, your daily dose of African insights with Lulu Gaboo on Channel Africa.
We go to Nigeria, where condolences are pouring in from across the world following the death of Nigeria's former president, Muhammadu Buhari, in a hospital in London. Buhari will be buried under Islamic rites. And to discuss this further, we are now joined on the line by Douglas Ogbankwa from the National Movement for the Actualization of Good Governance. Douglas, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update, and condolences to you and the Nigerian people.
Yes, actually a sad day for Nigeria. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Africa.
Now, tell us more about the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. Where does he come from before becoming Nigeria's number one?
Okay, well, former President Muhammadu Buhari has been part of the checkered history of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I think at the age of mid-20s, he became the youngest ever Minister of Petroleum in Nigerian history in 1978. 1976, when President Olusegun Obasanjo became the head of state following the quelling of an aborted coup. From there, he has been part of the history of this country, and he has played leading roles in Nigerian history. On the 31st of December 1983, there was a coup in which General Sani Abacha, another of Nigeria's former head of state, is eventually dead, announced a coup. And Muhammad Buhari was announced as Nigeria's head of state over the former president Shehu Shagari. His friend, Ibrahim Babangida, another military head of state, was the chief of army staff when Buhari took over as head of state, military head of state. On the 27th of August 1985, Ibrahim Babangida overthrew Muhammad Buhari and he ended up in detention in prison. And after some few years, he was released. When Sani Abacha became head of state on the 17th of November 1993, through a coup, another coup, overthrowing the then Chief Ernest Shonekan, head of the then Nigerian national government, following the annulment of the June 12 presidential election, won by Moshood Abiola, MK Abiola. But Abacha made Buhari the chairman of the Petroleum Special Trust Fund, which was a fund that was brought in to use the surplus from the increment of fuel for infrastructural development in Nigeria. So he was in the cool house for some time until he started contesting elections. He contested for Nigerian elections severally under the APP, All Progressives Party, the ANPP, All Nigerian Progressive Party. He also contested under the CPC, Congress of Progressive Change. And luckily for him, he won the election in 2015, and he became president on the 29th of May 2015, following his coalition with the then Tinubu, the Tinubu then led East National Congress of Nigeria to form the All Progressives Congress, which is the current ruling party in Nigeria. So Muhammad Buhari has been part of Nigerian history for a long time, and his death is, would I say, a loss to the country, one way or the other.
Now let's talk about his health in terms of the number of times that he spent long periods of time in London for medical reasons. When he became president of Nigeria, was he already ill, or was it something that came up during his presidency?
Well, yes, if you notice, he died in his 70s. And, at that age, usually we have some kind of ailment which will be associated with your age. So he was not very sick, but at least every human being felt sick. But the height of his sicknesses came during his reign as president, and severally, like you rightly stated, he was in London for treatment, over different ailments. Managed as a country for 8 years. And it would be too hard for us to say that it did not affect his health. It actually affected his health, and so now his health did not affect the running of the country. It actually affected the running of the country, and then it was something that we as the people, we actually wished him to be more healthy while he was head of state, President Barra, but that was how it was, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So when he became president during the campaign, period, something that made him appealing to the citizens of Nigeria was his anti-corruption, ethics. What else was there that appealed to the people? And just touch also on, the issues then that came with his presidency in terms of, the spreading of violence. And after taking over from former President Goodluck Jonathan, has this been reversed, or what we see of Nigeria today is a continued insurgence of a continued disruption and security issues in different parts of the country?
Very well. That was the law of former President Muhammad Buhari's reign. There was an increase in insurgency by persons who we know are not Nigerians, people who came from outside the country because they belong to a particular tribe, which was of the northern extraction. And it's just now that such violence is being curtailed one way or the other by the current administration. It was a very, very, very bad moment for this country. Traveling by road was like a death sentence because you were not sure you were going to come back alive. It was something that, we, as the people, we felt betrayed because a lot of people actually had high hopes when President Mohamed Buhari took over power, like you rightly stated, coming from his appeasement, we actually wanted a scenario. A lot of us believe that this country is a great country. It's perhaps the greatest black nation on earth. But we have been quite unlucky sometimes with leadership.
Yeah, and his legacy. We have run out of time, Douglas, and just very quickly in wrapping up, talk to us about his legacy.
Mohamed Buhari will be remembered for being a president who was able to remove his sitting president. It's actually something that is, apart from South Africa, Zambia, Ghana, it's something that hardly happens in Africa. Having a presidential candidate remove the sitting president, and it was very fair to him. He was able to keep the naira stable for a long time, and the fuel prices were quite low. Nigerians were able to afford fuel at a lower price and buy forex at a lower rate.
Well, Douglas, thank you so much for joining us on Africa Update. We'll leave it there for today. That was Douglas Ogbangwa from the National Movement for the Actualization of Good Governance joining us on the line.
Africa Update with Lulu Gaboo, 12 to 1 p.m. Central African Time.
Political parties in South Africa have lambasted the country's president over what they say is protracted delays regarding a judicial commission of inquiry into allegations made by the KwaZulu-Natal's Provincial Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The Economic Freedom Fighters says they reject the decision to appoint an acting Minister of Police who is not a current member of Cabinet, adding that it is a direct violation of Section 98 of the Constitution. Now, the South African Union Council of Independent Churches has applauded the establishment of a commission, saying that the President has demonstrated leadership by acting decisively. And for more on this, we are joined on the line by Pastor Lisiba Kwele, the national spokesperson for the South African Union Council of Independent Churches. And he now joins us on the line. Pastor, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Good afternoon to you and to your listeners, Lulu, and how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Pastor. Many South Africans expressing frustration at the announcement by the president. However, you have commended the president. Talk to us as to why this is the case. We have seen mixed reaction on all different platforms.
Yes, as you would understand that many players, particularly the political players, will not, of course, give credit to a process that they are not part of, because this is actually a different approach in that it is an independent judicial commission, and with, as far as we are concerned, we regard it as a conviction to protect the rule of law and good governance. Because remember, here's a government minister who, among others, is accused. So the impartiality of the commission, as well as ensuring that General Mkhwanazi's allegations are tested in a properly constituted platform, because the one that he used was, of course, outside of that, in that he accused even his colleagues of acts that are unbecoming in the public domain without affording them the opportunity to react. That is at the media session. So, as far as was concerned, was saying that this will actually, it's a step in the right direction towards ensuring that there is public trust that is restored, but without in any way putting the issues that were raised, under the carpet, but ensuring that they are dealt with publicly, because judicial independent commission will be able to get to whether there is evidence to that effect and whether it is credible, and if so, it will recommend criminal action. So we really think that the criminal justice system in South Africa should receive a report that will be able to say that all of the allegations, including allegations against the judiciary, against state security, and other organs, of the South African Police Service, because these were not just allegations within the South African Police Service that spoke to involvement of criminal elements. So we think that the culture of impunity within the South African Police Service must be confronted to ensure that it does not degenerate into a self-serving institution.
Now, the establishment of this Judicial Commission of Inquiry is going to be chaired by the Acting Deputy Chief Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga. It has been met with skepticism. How do you propose that accountability be ensured?
In as far as we as SOSIC are concerned, we regard it as an objective platform for all of those issues, because we want to see to it that the safety of our citizens is not compromised by members of the South African Police Service, either acting in a manner that seeks to extend their terms, among others, or as well as cast aspersion on other people. We think this is a platform that will be able to assist us deal or get to the bottom of the issues that were raised, but also pointing out that during this transition, we do not want to see the rule of law or even the efficiency of policing being compromised in any way. We are saying that the leadership of the South African Police Service at all levels must be held accountable for their operational efficiency at the highest level of professionalism in order to safeguard our communities against organized and violent crimes that they are experiencing.
Now, the president has gone as far as appointing somebody outside of Parliament, that's Professor Feroz Kachalia, as the acting police minister. Now, some parties have criticized this and highlighting the fact that he's not a member of Parliament, but the president has a prerogative or a right to appoint two individuals who are not members of Parliament to be in a ministerial position. What do you think about this appointment?
You would recall that according to South Africa's constitution, and I wish that people would be constitutional in addressing this issue, the president did not say that he's immediately appointed. So he still has to be sworn in as a member of the judiciary, as a member of Parliament, thereafter be appointed, take an oath before the Chief Justice to be a minister. So that's still a process, because he's currently at the University of Witwatersrand, where he is doing very good work, and he has the requisite experience. Remember, he was in 1994, the dawn of our freedom, he was responsible for community safety, among other portfolios in the Gauteng, and he now comes from the academic, and he's been doing constitutional. He's a constitutional lawyer, and he comes with very good credentials. So we expect that this ethical leader, leader of this caliber, who has demonstrated impartiality and defined that in no uncertain terms this appointment seeks to indicate to us in no uncertain terms that the objective of the unfolding process is to ensure that the South African Police Service is finally a service that cleans itself or rids itself of these dubious characters that are allegedly involved in undermining effective policing. So we are confident that Professor Firoz Kachalia has the requisite experience as well as the commitment as a patriot, never been under any. He's currently leading the anti-corruption advisory.
África, com corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.